Yes.
Hey, so listen, listeners, I say things and I am no authority on anything and I get a lot of stuff wrong and like just count on me getting stuff wrong. But I made the argument about conservative comedy that we posted as a clip. I still stand by that argument. There were people some additional points that I thought were actually really good. I'd like to add, which is that conservative comedy by nature, conservation is the act of trying to keep things the way they already are, or even the way they used to be. So by that, there is, I think, amongst conservative people or amongst conservative uh, within conservative comedy, a preferability for the familiar. So I think you could say with an ounce of objectivity that would lead to conservative comedy being more predictable. It's within the known, and that would be what could hurt conservative comedy. But on the flip side of that, their argument would be, and I stand by this: liberal comedy tends to be more kind and less cruel, especially to outside groups. And I do think comedy needs an amount of cruelty. I think anytime you cut off a set of tools for comedy, you're going to not be able to get those laughs. So I think between conservative comedy lacking some sense of um, new, and then liberal comedy lacking some sense of cruel,
Hmm.
yeah, both have their shortcomings.
Both. Yeah, I mean that's why I felt the only thing that I would want to clarify in that, and if you the full conversation had this, but in the clip didn't, which is when we say conservative comedy,
Yeah,
we're not talking about someone who's conservative doing stand-up
yeah,
comedy. We're
yes,
talking about doing stand-up comedy about conservative. Like,
yes,
it's a very specific type. It isn't, "Oh, this guy it." We know a ton. There's a ton of
mhm,
comics who are secretly conservative, or
yeah,
even if you're really paying attention, conservative. But
yes,
we're talking about the group that goes on stage and goes, "I am," and potentially makes it their entire hour, and that's where it's
yes,
just fascinating to see how that would impact their comedy.
yes, yes. And I mean, there's so many asterisks, and to say the conservative comedy is worse was, I mean, I admit in the clip a clickbait hook. I would say it's less represented, and you could. I mean, it's all different levels of like you could say the biggest comics. A lot of them are conservative, but then SNL. There's no conservative SNL really. You could argue that there's kind of now a conservative Daily Show with Gutfeld, but man, do I have a problem with that statement
What are
of
you talking
comparing.
about? It's a great show. They're so funny. What do you Oh.
Anyway, that just wanted to add that because I thought that was some pretty good uh, conversation about that conservative rant we went on, the conservative
I think
comedy
one of
rant.
the I think one of the, very, both very likable and I would say confusing things about Matthew Broussard, and I believe my wife once said this about you, because she was talking to you about something, and you go she said, "Matthew said this to me." She says something to you and you go, "I haven't thought of that before. I'm gonna need to think about that. I might be wrong. Can I
Mhm.
call you back in an hour?" And she was like, "I've never heard somebody do that. I've never heard somebody just go just so listen to the other side and go, 'I might be wrong. I'm gonna call you back.'" 'Cause you just weren't convinced anymore you were right, and it's like, yeah, you said that thing. I think we stand by most parts of it, but it is worth knowing, if you write a good comment on the YouTube or Instagram and Matthew sees it, it will change his opinion if it's good enough.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, it's thanks. That's what I aim for. I don't I mostly miss, but my aim is, my dad was a scientist, and I think scientists are wrong more than anyone else. That's why they know so much.
Yes.
It's the same
That's
way
true.
comedians are like people assume comedians are funny. I'm like, I've had more jokes fail than you will ever dream of.
Yes.
If it's that, like the lame Michael Jordan quote, but it's like, yeah, I mean, I think being wrong is great. And then that's what I loved about coding in particular in college. Math and coding, and you kind of marry the two for a lot of the projects, was feeling so confident, so sure, and then hitting compile, and then nope. And there wasn't like you didn't have a chance to be like, "Well, I might technically" no, you did something wrong. You
Mhm.
know the answer you were looking for and you didn't get it. Either
Yep.
it bugged out or it spit out a number that didn't make sense, and when you're young, you blame the computer. No, maybe it's just maybe they're compiling the code wrong. Maybe there's a back end problem.
Yes.
That's never happened to me. But it might happen, but in thousands of lines of code or more, never once has it been the computer's fault and not mine.
It is typically, I mean, that's always, you can blame the audience, but most of the
Yeah,
time, the
yeah,
joke is at fault.
yes.
Um, and by the way, speaking of jokes, boy, did you miss a heck of a festival.
Oh, how you please. The
Netflix
Netflix is
is a
a joke
joke, baby.
festival.
Every square inch of this city was
Mhm.
comedy. They they accomplish their goal every year. It
Yeah.
truly feels like everything is stand-up comedy in LA for a week.
Really?
It
Like,
does.
throughout the city?
You know, their strategy is interesting when it leads up to it because they just go, "We're gonna do 7,000 shows."
Mhm,
And as a comic, you go, "Okay, it doesn't feel special.
mhm,
It's just 7,000 shows, and it feels extremely competitive. We're all fighting with each other for various stuff."
mhm.
But then, to its credit, you are like, "Man, it feels like it's everywhere." I have it never, I mean, so many shows. I've gone to so many parties, and it was this very weird thing where every day I would go to a party or something, talk to a ton of comics, talk to a ton of, like, industry. You wake
Mhm.
up the next morning, you immediately see a picture of a party you weren't invited to, and you're devastated.
Yeah.
And then the next night, couple parties, "Oh my god, I'm so tired. I can't believe I did it." You wake up, "Why wasn't I invited to this one?" Every single day was that.
I I've not been playing that game, Danny. I've not been playing that game for a little while now. It's cool, but I think I told you I was hanging out with a couple comics and they were talking about I went to, like, Moon Tower and they're like, "Oh, yeah, on Friday night, we all got drunk and played lacrosse at 4 AM at this dude's at, like, this comic's
Yeah.
house." And it was this moment where I realized I'm finally at the age where the rejection of not being invited to things is equal and opposite to the relief of not having to go. Where it was as soon as it felt like Wolverine, the wound immediately healed itself.
Mhm.
And
It's
I
such
was
a
like, "Yeah,
powerful
but I
thing.
wouldn't wanna be my whole week would be shot. If I was drinking beers at 4 AM,
Mhm.
I mean, that we're done. We're done. I'm a shell of myself, and I'm not a particularly good hang. I can do the parties, but I've also been spoiled on the last year of my life being the most successful career-wise, and in no part due to any of those games.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have schmoozed my way to some things. So,
Certainly. Certainly we all have. Certainly it was a big part of, like, this
uh,
process.
but it was fun, but it was very,
Certain stages,
it was a
very necessary.
fascinating festival to see
Mhm.
just how much shit was going on. And to
Yeah.
its credit, it did at a certain point, you were like, undeniably, this thing is everywhere.
I don't ever need to be a part of that festival. Because for the listener who doesn't understand, you get your own show. It's already very hard to sell tickets in LA. It's a hard place to say, "Hey, you know how you can see 7 of the most famous comics? How about instead you see 1 not so famous comic for an hour, and parking's awful, and it's probably an hour away, depending on traffic."
Mhm.
So it's a very hard city to sell tickets, and with Netflix as the joke, you do a headliner show, on a Sunday at 4 PM. That also happens to be the same time the festival's booked Dave Chappelle to do an arena.
Mhm.
And you have to sell your own tickets, and it's like NYU's campus. It's
It's
just a bunch
spread
of
out.
buildings that are loosely associated with each other.
Yes, we
Yeah.
are, it is that. It
Uh-huh.
is very hard. And yet, it did feel like, I this year I felt was a success for them. I was
That
happy for, I
that's
did feel
good.
like I thought they did a good job of, if nothing else, it really felt like, wow, Netflix as a joke really was a thing this year.
That's good. We need all of that. I feel
Yes,
like
to its
stand-up is coming
credit.
back. I think we've weeded out the influencers a good bit, and
I
it's
think
going back
Funny
to
AF
feeling
helped a
pure
lot too.
again. What's that?
I think Funny AF helped a lot. I think that competition to start it really, kicked off the festival with like, okay, there's this thing happening to start it.
I'm so happy that show's doing well.
I
Again,
am
like the FOMO is not nearly. There's a tiny bit of FOMO watching it, but there's also like, dude, comics have something to hope for. There's actually a kingmaker. For the first time in at least 10 years, there's a king-making process.
I
Nothing else
I
used to
will.
make you. I'm so sick of people saying, well, Joe Rogan's the new Johnny Carson. I'm like, but you're not doing stand-up on Rogan.
Yes, 1,000,000%. Yes. I mean, it's been hard. I think I don't know how you feel, but for me, I've like had real like because it came across my desk, so to speak,
Yeah.
when it was
Mhm.
doing it, and I was like, I just didn't. I really didn't believe they would do like a true competition that was fair and good and
Mhm.
stand up focused, and I
Mhm.
was wrong. I wish I'd been a
Mhm.
part of it. I thought it was great. I'll be if
I
they do a season 2 and the same people are involved, I will absolutely wanna be a part of it. I thought it was phenomenal.
The funny part to me is I didn't get an offer to do the show. I think I would have said no based on my past horrible experiences with another Netflix competition show that didn't see the light of day because of the pandemic.
Are you
But I think
allowed
the
to tell?
second
Would you wanna tell that story?
I have. Let's not do it today. Should I do it today? It's a
It's up
long
to
one.
you. I'm curious
Eh.
because it is this thing of because 'cause I've never done what any of the competition shows.
Mhm.
I've always said, "Quote this, clip this, would rather do Survivor."
Yeah.
I've applied to Survivor 100 times, have a joke about Survivor, love Survivor, would just wanna do Survivor. That's all I
Mhm.
wanna do with Survivor. That is much bigger to me than any stand-up competition. I'll never do America's Got Talent.
Mhm.
I don't wanna say never. This career is really all over the place where I'm like, who knows what the future holds. But
Mhm.
America's Got Talent really scares me due to
Mhm.
this time limit. Um, Same
And
with
how
a
much
lot.
they can cut it to make you look like whatever they wanna make you look like. They turn you
Totally,
into this puppet of yourself.
totally. Um, but I will say, funny enough, is the first stand-up competition I have seen where I was like, "Oh, I wish I'd done it. I wish I'd done it. That was really cool. I thought they did a really good job." And
Mm.
everybody by the end, people kept being like, "Who do you think should win?" And I was like, "It doesn't really matter anymore.
Doesn't matter.
There's nobody fake left. These are
Yeah.
all real comics. I don't give a shit who wins.
Yeah. Like
They
a comics
all
depicted.
yeah, they're
I
all
do
real."
think the second season, it's going to be funny seeing the second season of I think some people who already have a great career are going to really want to throw themselves at this. So it's going to be I don't think it's going to be as accessible in season 2 because a
Yes,
lot of people who the first round were like, "I'm above this," are like,
me. I mean,
I'm yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
say I
yeah.
was above this. I said I don't trust this thing. And
That's a fair impulse because man,
my
ours
thing is my stance has always been I'll sooner do Survivor. I'll sooner do
mm,
The Traitors. I'll sooner do The Amazing Race. I'll sooner
mhm,
do any sort of competition show than stand up because stand up's the one thing I really care about in this world.
mhm,
So I don't want stand up to get hurt. And I
mhm,
don't want my stand up to get hurt. That's the one thing in this world that really scares me.
mhm.
Um, and that said, oops,
All this to say, I
Netflix
have,
is
if I may
yeah,
move along,
please.
I have a separate beef with Netflix. Uh, I think Netflix stole my identity. 2022, there was a movie called Do Revenge, a fantastic, very stylish high school revenge film. And there is in it the typical antagonist, the old money, popular, fair haired, preppy, I won't say jock. There's some subversions of the trope, but very much that classic high school bully, popular kid trope. Now, a little history. I have quite frequently reflected on how much I resemble this archetype. All that said, fair game. It's very much public domain. The trope exists for a reason. I'm not the
Mhm.
first person to note it or note a resemblance to it. But the character is similar hair, similar vibe to what I am often cast to play. Um, no, nothing out of bounds there, right? That'd
Yep.
be silly to claim any resemblance at this point between me and this character, except that his name is Max Broussard.
Whoa.
Max Broussard. Now, for people listening, Broussard, my last name, has a very specific history. It is not just a Cajun name; it is the Cajun name. Around 1650, French began immigrating to Acadia, where you would find in Canada, east coast of Canada, and they were given a land there, and they developed quite an interesting culture before around 1750 they were forced out by the English. That rebellion was led by Joseph Beausoleil Broussard, who didn't win that rebellion, and the French Acadians had to relocate to Louisiana, called Acadiana, New Acadia, where Acadian became Cajun. Um, Now, Joseph and his brother Alexandra, they are the fathers of basically every white Broussard in this country. If your last name is Broussard, you are a descendant. There's about 25,000 of us, and I would guess that 90% or more are direct descendants of those two.
Wow.
Their progeny proliferated quite intensely upon arrival in Louisiana. So if your last name is Broussard, you're related to me and you're Cajun for the most part. If there's anyone commenting on this, if you're Broussard and not Cajun, shout out. Shout out either way, but I'm very curious how
How did it
rare
happen?
non-Cajun Broussards are. So to be a Broussard is to be related to me. Here's the other twist. The character, Jewish.
Interesting.
Now, Jewish Cajuns, because of a lot of dispersions and social and cultural differences, very rare. I've talked about being a Jewish Cajun. I've probably met most of them by now because any Jewish Cajun has seen my clip and go, "Oh wow, there's another." It's like me and Shia LaBeouf. And now, if you filter that down to Jewish Broussards, it's me and my brother. So for this
Wow.
character to be a Jewish Broussard and somewhat resemble my type feels unnerving. What say
That's
you, Dan?
wild.
That's
That's
that's a lot, right?
that is a now I'm gonna ask,
Uh-huh.
it's not just a lot because I imagine it's crazy. And then on top of
Mhm.
that, I mean, because you particularly early in your career had so many jokes about being the villain.
Yes.
I mean, what do we think the odds are?
What I think happened is the writer or someone in the writing process, maybe someone downstream,
Yeah.
um, like just made a decision on the name, and they go, well, "What's a good last name for a bully, for a high school bully?" And then
Mhm.
just without realizing it, said Broussard.
Yes.
That sounds like a bully's last name, not knowing that that last name has such a different attack. For the money to be, I'm sorry, for in the movie, it's he's old California old money, and I'm like, Broussard is not a California old money name. You think it's a fancy French name? It is a,
I
it's a redneck name.
I'm just so curious if
I know.
they
I found the person who wrote it, and they're not they know people I know. She's
well,
and again, she's
1,000,000%
a
then.
great writer, great film, and I don't think it was necessarily her decision. So this is not me trying to start shit.
It's also not a thing to start shit about. It's not stealing
Mhm.
jokes. You're allowed to
No, no,
name a
no.
character after a comedian that you might like or kinda know,
Uh-huh.
particularly when she probably wrote it came out in what, 2022?
2022, and I started talking about looking like a villain in 2016, if not
And guess
earlier.
what? My
20
bet would be
2014.
my
What's that?
bet would be she started writing in 2016. Movies take
Uh-huh.
forever.
Mhm.
So, that times out for me. I don't think it's a calling out situation. I don't think this is a bad thing to have done,
Yeah.
to be honest.
I
Like,
just
I
wanna
think
know.
yeah, but I
Yeah.
think if we can get the writer on the horn, did you
Uh-huh.
at some point see Matthew Broussard on stage and it go in your head, "That is a good bully name,"
Yeah.
particularly because it sounds like they went, Matthew Broussard is we're kind of describing Matthew Broussard, and they went, well, we can't call the character Matthew Broussard, switch it to Max Broussard. Because I've done that with characters where it's been
Really?
about somebody, and I go, well, let me just change it so that they don't know
Mhm.
that I'm basically writing a character off of them.
Well,
I would
they
be,
should have taken more steps if it is based on me. That's why I don't think they actually knew that they again, not it's not based on me. They built the character, and I think they thought my name and had some subconscious associations between the name Broussard and this
what's
archetype.
her, what's the name called? What's the movie called?
Do Revenge.
Do Revenge. Okay.
Yeah. Because
And
I
the
got a
name,
couple messages about it. I'm like, that is crazy. Now, again, I've said this. There are a lot of subversions of the trope that make it really interesting. The writer made this guy extremely liberal. He paints his fingernails.
yeah.
He's kind of gender fluid. It's that kind of liberal bully.
Oh, I know the writer of this.
Really?
Celeste, right? Wait, I know her.
Is
How
she
do I know
cool?
her?
She's a great writer.
I think so. I think she was very in the This is wild. Yes, I do think I
UCB
know
improv
her.
world, because I saw she was
Yes.
friends with Britannic.
Yes.
Yeah. But who's
I'm
to say she even
so
named the character? Oh, and then the Jewish part. I think the Jewish part is that it's Austin Abrams as the actor who's himself Jewish, and I think likely chose to make himself Jewish. I doubt they wrote the character as Jewish.
that's
I'm
fair.
guessing Austin just said, "I want to wear my Star David necklace. Necklace. It gives me an attachment to the character."
Sure. And
But
that's
then
one that
arriving at a Jewish Broussard, it's so to see a Jewish Broussard is like, what the fuck are we doing?
yeah, yeah. No, I mean, it's very funny.
Yeah.
That's so
What's the
wild.
verdict? Okay, so you think it's
I would be curious, and I would like Celeste, if you see this, to weigh in. Did you in any way, and again, a legal move. This isn't a call out.
mhm.
Was it potentially based on Matthew Broussard?
What was the name choice based on me? Not
Name
the
choice.
character. I don't
Yeah,
think she
name
made a
choice.
character based on me. I think she made an incredible individual character.
Mhm.
Like I'm not like that would be critical of her creative process, and that's like
Yeah.
that would be a horrible thing to say. I think the
I guess
naming.
I'm not. I can't stress enough how much I'm not being critical of her creative process
Uh-huh.
and saying
Yes.
you are allowed to go. What's a name that works for this type of character because I've
Yes.
seen it work
Yes.
is this person.
Uh-huh.
Let me get
Mhm.
close to it.
Uh-huh. Unless maybe she knows some other Broussards that are not descendant from
She might.
the brothers. Okay.
That's so
That's
funny.
thought put that on record, see if I can stir up some shit.
I don't think it's stirring up shit. I think it's a fascinating situation.
Yeah.
Um, it's fascinating. I I exploded through the roof the other day because Dana White was doing an interview and Dana White's been like, I would describe it as like, and it's hard because people are going to think it's political. It's really not about his politics. He's just been
Mhm.
on a heel turn in general.
Yeah.
He's just been kind of heel turning lately. And
Mm.
I'm not a
He's in his Vince McMahon era.
Ye Matthew, perfect.
I know
Like,
so little about either of those things. I feel so proud I pulled that reference out.
yes, he has become well, and not in the crimes way of Vince McMahon, but in the I've become so big and powerful and I run this thing, kinda just making any decision I want, kinda say anything I want. What are you gonna do
Mhm.
about it? We're
Mhm.
kinda doing that. Um, he's in a what are you gonna do about it period.
Mhm.
And man, I am he an example was he did this interview where he said a bunch of stuff that I was like, but one of them was, and it just gets me so angry when I hear it. The there's too much crying with men. Did one of those. Just as men, they're becoming weak. You can't be crying. You can't be crying as a man. You gotta learn. A woman isn't gonna want a man who cries. And I just the amount and remember, I like UFC. I've liked Dana White. I've defended Dana White in so many rooms. And I was like, I'm so over that sentence at this point.
I loathe it. I loathe a guy who's made what, billions? Is he a billionaire yet?
He's gonna be close. He's
Okay,
gonna be
hundreds of
close.
millions off of violence.
Off of
Has
violence, but
yeah.
off of incredible creativity, incredible resiliency. Like I could give you so many positive characteristics of Dana White. And over the past year, it has been such a clear turn to
Mhm.
this. And
Mhm.
now we're in this place where he's going, men shouldn't cry. And I just go, what are you doing?
This is can I go on my little rant here?
You can, but I'm
Okay.
coming back to this. It makes me so angry, Matthew.
It makes me angry too because what I see so much is men who h- human civilization has worked a long and hard time. That sounds chunky, but we've worked very hard as a species to arrive at a place where brutality, where violence, where suppressing our emotion and our empathy is not an asset. We actually live in a world where our compassion and our intelligence is what gives us supremacy over this planet. We are
Which,
a pathetic species.
but well, I was going to stop you because I knew you were about to say that. And I said, I
Mhm.
disagree. I think it actually speaks to a wonderful progression of humanity that we don't have to. kill each other to get food.
I'm saying that.
Yeah, okay, good. I don't
Yeah,
think
I'm
it's
saying
pathetic,
I'm
though.
of all the animals on the planet, a human baby is born so helpless and will
Mhm.
remain helpless for 5 or 10 or 15 years. Most of us would, left naked on a random place on the planet, would die within a day or 2.
Mhm.
Um, all of us, minus Bear Grylls, I guess.
Yeah,
But
he's got it down.
physical strength and brutality is not our asset. We're pathetic. We're helpless and weak,
Mhm.
and we found a way to game the whole evolutionary system by working together and using our brains. And it's people who don't thrive under that new system that want to yank us back into the previous era of brutality and ruthlessness.
It's so crazy to me. And it's like, be strong. Look, I work, you and I both work out. You work out better than me, but we
Mhm,
both are like, we're not out of shape people. I fluctuate
mhm.
more than you for sure, but we're not out of shape. Like this is it's just like, man, to have that, to be in 2026 and as a man be like, I don't like when men cry. It's like, boy, do I feel like we're past that.
Yes.
Boy, do I feel like how many more successful men are we gonna see cry
Mhm.
before we all go, "Yeah, it's a good thing. It's never going to hurt you to cry." It
Yes.
is the best thing you can do if you're a guy, and it's hard. It's hard to get there. It's not
It's hard.
easy. But, like, yeah, if you can, and the idea of it makes you less of a man, or in some way women won't see it. It is like there is a type of woman who might see it that way.
Mhm.
Those those are chicks, and they're gonna date dudes. Chicks
Yeah.
and dudes date, chicks and bros date. You guys all don't cry together, yell at do you guys do that life? Most women, they're like, Yeah, of course. What the tears coming out of your it doesn't affect anything sexually to cry."
I mean, I think we're being a little women, it's not attractive, but a woman farting is not attractive, but it's a thing everyone does.
Well, yes.
And if you're looking for a relationship, you're not gonna have a partner who doesn't do a single thing that, isn't attractive. Like,
If you are getting married to a guy, if you are dating men, at some point you will see him cry.
yeah.
And if you
Yeah.
don't, that's terrifying. At some point you're gonna see him cry.
Does your dad cry?
A couple times, and
Mhm,
but my dad's a great example of, like, he's worked on it.
mhm,
Like, his life is was he comes from a generation before. I don't even know what generation is anymore. That we've started, like, naming new generations, it feels like every 5 years. So I'm like, "What
mhm.
is a generation anymore?"
He's
But
a boomer, I'm guessing.
yes,
My dad's
uh,
not a boomer, I learned. He's pre-boomer. How crazy is
who?
that? Yeah,
My dad's definitely a boomer. Um,
silent
but yeah,
generation.
he worked on it over the years. Like, I think when
Mhm,
growing up, it was definitely not that. It was much more like he would kinda go past that to, like, just, like, frustration.
mhm.
He kinda do the classic, "I don't cry," flip out at the table out of
Yeah,
nowhere, and then
yeah,
I just watched him get through that,
yeah.
and all of a sudden it was like, not and again, look, we're not saying weep every day,
Mhm,
but couple times a year? Sure.
yeah. That's silly of Dana to say that.
I thought it
I
was
have a
really
Dana.
silly. I was bummed out.
I have a Dana story
Go ahead.
that I probably shouldn't say. So last night was the roast of Kevin Hart. I got to write for the previous roast of Tom Brady for one of the performers, and I
Mhm.
was in the green room of that performer before the show with a couple other writers. And on the phone comes Dana calling the comic who I was working with. And Dana goes to speakerphone and says, "Hey, I'm doing a quick segment. I could really use just a couple quick jokes for when they hand the mic to me." Here's one I already have, and it was some really bad joke. He was like, "My name's Dana. That's not trans enough for you liberal cucks." And he laughed hysterically. We were like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, Dana, good joke. You could also do a joke about," and then like quickly we threw like two jokes. Like, "Oh, you could put this joke before it, and that'd be good." And you could like lead in, and then from that joke you can lead into this other joke. So we basically built a shit sandwich out of his terrible joke.
Sure.
And then we were like, "Also, actually, say those three jokes again." That's good. You could cut the middle joke. And he immediately was like, no, that's my joke. That's the one I wrote. I want to do it. We're like, okay.
Yep.
So we just gave him the sandwich and said, best of luck. And we hoped the other two jokes would prop up his awful, awful joke. And then we sit there through the taping. He does all three jokes. His is the only one that works.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
he's
so funny.
killed. We're like, what do I know about anything?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
roasts are upside down.
yeah,
Roasts are an upside down comedy world, not in a negative way. It's just like is
hmm,
like when you, as someone who's done it a couple times, written for it a couple times, also not as much as you, but you,
hmm,
the part of the mindset is going upside down, go upside down.
yeah,
The more
yeah,
hacky, the better, and not in
yeah,
like the more universal, the more just basic. You look like this. They're racially this. Here's
yes.
that. Like,
And like too clever can betray the character. Like Gronk killed. He
mhm,
wrote one of his own jokes for it and admitted as much. And it was you could very much tell the joke that was his
mhm.
against the other ones. And that one killed so hard because it wasn't like it was in his voice. It wasn't too and also with Dana, if it's like a misdirect or a pun where you're
Yeah,
like, you waggle your eyebrow at ha 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 ha, but ching. It could
yeah.
like just not be funny coming from them.
Yes. It
Yeah.
really is, like it's what makes writing for roasts kind of fun.
Hmm.
Same with, like, award shows, like,
Hmm.
you and I both done award shows, it's like same thing where it's like, "Hey, we're not here to do" it's
Yeah.
think whatever I normally think about comedy and what I think it should be, throw it out.
Yep. I mean, you can
Today's
have
about
yeah,
what do you look like? What are we here to do? What do you tip what do we what do
yeah,
if I were to look at you and make the most simple joke, how do I make that slightly elevated?
yes. And and to dig any deeper into the person
Mhm.
is just not go you like the it's so narrow. You have such a limited amount of time and words. And to think that like roasts are an arena in which Martha Stewart can comedically outshine Jeff Ross. Like that
Yes.
when Martha Stewart or like what's his name? Who's the Jewish NFL player?
Julian
Edelman?
Edelman?
Julian Edelman. I mean, he had one of the best sets on the show.
Yes. Well, Julian
Now,
Edelman
to his
is
credit, he really actually ran it. He went and just did it at clubs until he could recite it in his sleep.
well, I mean, that's Julian Edelman football. Julian Edelman, great player, but really known for like incredible precision and work ethic. And I had
Mhm.
heard that going into I'd heard even before the roast happened. It was like Julian Edelman's kind of Julian Edelman in comedy. He's kind of
It feels
outworking
like
everyone. He's
it
kind of
feels like
outworking.
Jewish stereotypes
Yes.
you come to life. Well, he's a more intellectual player and he's bookish and he pays off by
Well,
by
this is famously there is a joke that
Mhm.
every white football player, they're always like, "He's real clever. He's real smart. He's real,
Mhm.
boy, he's a real coach's player." It's
Yeah.
always the white players, and then everyone else, they're like
Yeah.
really athletic, and you're like,
Yeah.
"All right,
Well, they said the same thing about Jeremy Lin,
yes,
which is a group that suffers from a couple of similar stereotypes to our
yes,
people. He's
hmm
sneaky athletic.
he's sneaky. Oh,
Okay.
sneaky athletic. They're all sneaky athletic. Every
Whoa.
white guy,
Yeah.
sneaky athletic. It's like, do you mean that he's fast for a white guy? Is that what we're trying
Yeah.
to say?
Yeah. Yeah.
We're poking around, we're living our dreams, we're doing shows this week. I've been doing a lot of shows, been on a good show. Netflix is a joke does get you up on stage.
Oh, really? You got to do other shows?
Yeah, you get to do a lot. Yeah, you get to do a
Oh,
lot of other
that's
shows.
nice. Okay, then I would do it. Okay, I thought it was just you had to do your own show, which
You kind of so it yes, but then there's a lot of like Drew Lynch. Like I did Drew Lynch and Friends, and I did
cool.
the Peacock was a part of it, and I had mine, and then Crazy Ex Girlfriend does a show. It's like you just kind of end up bopping around.
Mhm. Crazy X was cool. How'd your show go?
My premiere was really cool. I'm very curious, like over the next couple of days, what happens, but it's a special that's very different.
Mhm.
And it was very cool to see it in a theater. It was very cool to see people react to it.
Mhm.
It's not typical,
Mhm.
so it is. I mean, Dana White would hate it.
You cry?
Dana White
Do you
would.
cry, Danny? How many times you cry in it?
I cry a solid amount, um, and then the real thing is it'll make you cry probably, which people. So a lot of people emotionally impacted by it. So it was cool to see people. It was cool to see people get emotionally impacted by a piece.
Mhm.
That was very cool to see in the theater.
That's
Um, and
that's like an
that was
applause break, but sad.
yeah, it's like a different kind of applause break where you're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
wow, they're really, like, emotionally feeling this thing."
Mhm. Mhm.
And you kinda harder to hear. You kinda have to, like, look for it, but you can feel it at a certain point, people are, like, really in. So that was
That's love.
really it was really cool. And then we'll see it's like just also this thing where you do these things, but then you're like, "Okay, who was there?"
Mhm. Well,
Like, I know the
Different is doing well again. This is my state of the comedy union
yeah.
forecasting. I've seen stand-up different stand-up is like it started with Rory Scovel's special doing really well,
Mhm.
and off of Netflix, by the way, on HBO, which it did which is great for anything other than Netflix to pop because nothing really
Yep.
does. Um, besides I get YouTube, but, then, Chris Fleming's special, phenomenal,
Phenomenal, can't say enough good
phenomenal.
things. Can't say enough.
Alt and polished, which is rare. It's rare that you can be that,
As many
you can be that
punchlines as
outside the club
any
'cause
club act.
what's that?
As many punchlines as any club act.
And maybe much more, but that's the that if you're not a huge comedy fan, what you might not remark upon is that he found a way to polish and punch up an hour more like that, but not doing clubs. I don't see him doing the clubs in New York or LA. He's just on the road in these either for his own audience or these very odd alternative venues and
Yes.
found a way to write the shit and perform the shit out of that hour. And then Aaron Chen's special is doing really well on Netflix, and that is very alt. That is a very it's not it does extremely well in the clubs. I see him in the clubs, but
Yeah.
it's off kilter and weird and different and fun and really really funny. And those three bode well for I
I'll
think.
include Stamptown also.
Yes, yes.
Zach
So
Zucker is doing some really cool stuff.
yes, and that's really hot in the community. It's hot. I mean, if there's just an era of culture that I long to relive, and it's that 2015, I guess 2010 to 2015 era.
I
And
know. We were too young.
yeah,
We weren't yet there.
we weren't, and I think it's coming back.
I hope
I
so.
think that kind of, and I think alternative comes in ways. I
Hey,
mean, you look at like Steve Martin, that was alternative comedy.
yes.
It was
Look,
anti-comedy, and it was like comedy was still very new, and he was selling anti-comedy. He was like one of the biggest acts in the world. So really, people when you inundate with traditional comedy, it creates an appetite for the alternative comedy, and vice versa.
well, let me tell you, my special is certainly going to hit that if that's what
Mhm.
people are looking for, but we'll see. I have no clue. We also haven't. It's very It was very interesting at the end to say to people like, "We're screening this thing, but we haven't sent it out to buyers.
Yeah.
Like we're
Mm.
kind of showing it, and we're probably gonna do that. We might do it in. We're looking to do it in New York. We're gonna do a screening. We might do more screenings
Do you want
because
to
we
tell
want.
people a pitch of what it is, or you want to keep it mysterious? Because I think it's a
What happens in a year?
impressive trailer.
It falls a year of my life.
Uh-huh.
So it starts my birthday and ends my birthday a year later, and you will
Mhm.
see a year of life and the way that things that happen in your life end up on stage and through documentary and through stand up. So you will
That's so
see
cool.
events occur and then me on stage making jokes about those events. But you also, I think the coolest thing is see like I think one of the coolest things you'll find in it is the jokes help, but they don't solve the problem.
Mhm.
Like just because I wrote a good joke about something doesn't mean that problem went away,
Love that message.
and it takes a while.
Yeah.
It's actually something we found in it is like, yeah, it takes me a while to get over certain things, and it takes a while for certain things to get fixed. And there's a real, mental health is definitely heavily talked about in it.
Yeah. Laughter isn't the best medicine, it's just a very strong painkiller.
Jesus, that was a good sentence, Matthew.
Fuck yeah. Let's end it there.
Ah, that was good. Yes.
So I don't appear too proud of myself.
Woo! That got me.
Yeah, buddy. Where are you on the road, Danny?
Lexington, Brea, LA, Pittsburgh, St. Louis is about to get added. San Francisco, more. Danny Jolles Punch Up, and also New York. I will probably be doing a screening in June. So get
I will be there.
fired up. Get fired
Um,
up.
I'm going to be DC. Then I'm taking a break for DC and Dublin. And I'm taking a break for the summer, and then I'm coming back Phoenix, New Orleans, Mississippi, Vermont, Texas, Montana, Pittsburgh, Carolinas, Atlanta, Detroit, Dallas, Fort Lauderdale, Denver, probably San Francisco and Austin adding soon. Broussard.live. Great new hour that come check it out. Bye.